What's up, dude? Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, let's see, I don't really have anything to preface this with, but I do want to put out a trigger warning for child abuse. I just thought I would say that now before I get started. I'm trying to get a little bit better about giving out trigger warnings just because this is sensitive content, so yeah, other than that, let's just jump right into it. Judith Eva Barsi was born on June 6th, 1978. Both of her parents, Joseph Istvan Barsi and Maria Barsi, were both immigrants and fled the Hungarian People's Republic after the uprising in 1956. However, they immigrated at different times and then ended up meeting in a California restaurant where Maria was a waitress, which is kind of cool. They each had been previously married. That really doesn't play a huge role in this story at all, but there's just so little information about the life before this incident, so that's why I just thought I'd throw that in there. Maria started prepping their daughter Judith to go into acting when she was only 5 years old. She started teaching her how to walk, how to pose, how to enunciate, things like that would help her get jobs. And actually Maria's brother was like, I don't think this is a good move. The chances of her becoming a star are so slim. Why even put, a ton of effort into this and money too? And she didn't listen to him and just kept going with teaching Judith to become an actress. Her first role was in Fatal Vision, where she played Kimberly McDonald.
Hey, Mom, I'm behind. Oh. Come here, sweetheart. Look.
She appeared in over 70 commercials and guest roles on TV. She was on Cheers as well as The Love Boat were two big ones that I saw as far as TV guest stars. Or guest appearances, I should say. Judith was also in Jaws: The Revenge, which is kind of cool.
Doctors say she should be all right. She's in shock.
Sweetheart.
And she also voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time, which, as a kid, I absolutely loved The Land Before Time. We used to watch those movies with some of our friends, and Ducky was so cute, and her little voice in that movie is just adorable. And I loved how Ducky would always go, yep, yep, or yep, yep, yep. It was so cute. That was one of the things that I actually do remember from those movies. I was so young when I watched it, so I don't remember everything, but I do remember Ducky and the yep, yep, yep.
Hello. I said hello. Maybe you cannot talk yet. Mine is Ducky. Yep, that is what it is. Yep, yep, yep.
As well, she played Anne Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven. That was another one of my favorite movies, I should say. I used to watch that as a kid and was obsessed with it, mainly because I love dogs and I was a kid that wasn't allowed to have a dog growing up. So watching movies that had them in were so super cool to me, and I remember that movie was just absolutely heartbreaking, and then the end is actually it's happy, but it's also sad. It's very bittersweet, but seriously, a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you go and watch it.
Oh, Charlie, I'll miss you. Charlie, will I ever see you again?
Judith was earning roughly $100,000 per year by the time she was in 4th grade. Roughly, that would be $229,000 as of 2021. The money that Judith earned helped the family move into a 3-bedroom house in West Hills, LA. West Hills was a nice suburban residence to live in during the 1980s. It's located in the western San Fernando Valley. When Judith was 10 years old, she was only 3 feet 8 inches tall. Now, at that age, the average 10-year-old girl should be between 50 and 59 inches, whereas Judith was only 44 inches. Her parents started taking her to get hormone injections at UCLA to try to get her to grow. Because she was so petite, Judith got casted to play kids that were younger than her actual age, which I know a lot of directors really like this because of child labor laws and whatnot. It's nice if you have an older actor or actress that's younger that can play a younger age than what they actually look like. When she was 10, she was still playing 7 or 8-year-old characters, explained her agent, Ruth Hansen. Judith Barsi, she said, was a happy, bubbly little girl. While Judith was seeing more success in her acting, her alcoholic father was becoming more angry and would regularly threaten to kill himself, his wife, and Judith. He would even tell one of his friends that he wanted to kill his wife. The friend, Peter Kivlen, said that he probably heard it hundreds of times. I'd try to calm him down. I'd tell him, if you kill her, what will happen to your little one, Kivlen said. Joseph's response was chilling. According to the friend, he said, I gotta kill her too, which is just so messed up and so scary. One time, Joseph grabbed a kite from Judith, and she was worried that he would break it, and so when she voiced these concerns to him, he called her a spoiled brat who didn't know how to share, and then continued to break the kite. He was arrested 3 times for drunk driving. Maria reported him to the police in December 1986 for threats and physical violence, but when the police arrived on the scene and checked Maria out, they found no physical signs of abuse, so she decided not to press charges, probably thinking that nobody would believe her. After this run-in with the cops, Joseph supposedly quit drinking, but he would continue to threaten Maria and Judith. His threats would include cutting their throats and burning down the house. In an effort to try to keep Maria from leaving the US with Judith, Joseph hid a telegram informing Maria that a relative in Hungary had unfortunately passed away. Judith reportedly told a friend that her dad would throw pots and pans at her, and she ended up getting a nosebleed, and I honestly do not doubt that that's all she ended up with throughout, her abuse. The anxiety from the abuse caused Judith to gain weight and develop compulsive disorders like plucking out her eyelashes and pulling out her cat's whiskers. This is called trichotillomania. It's known as a hair pulling disorder or compulsive hair pulling, and it is in fact a mental disorder. Judith had a breakdown in front of her agent in May of 1988, so Maria took her to a child psychologist who identified severe physical and emotional abuse and reported Judith to CPS. Maria assured the caseworker that she fully intended to begin divorce proceedings and that she and Judith were planning on moving to Panorama City, which is 21.3 miles or 43 minutes away from LA. So the caseworker decided to drop the investigation because of what Maria had said. Maria's friends really tried to encourage her to go through with the divorce and move out, but Maria was hesitant because she was afraid of losing the family's home and belongings. And honestly, I'm sure almost more than that, she was probably so afraid of him and what he might do. You see that a lot in abusive relationships, so I wouldn't doubt that there was a lot of other stuff going on that maybe she just didn't voice to her friends, and that's just the excuse that she came up with. The Los Angeles Times reported that on July 28, 1988, 3 people were found dead in an apparent murder-suicide. The bodies were believed to be the Barsi family. Police Lieutenant Warren Knowles said that a flammable liquid, likely gasoline, was poured on both girls by Joseph. His body was found in the garage, dead from an apparent suicide gunshot wound. A neighbor called the cops around 8:30 a.m. on July 27th because she heard a gunshot. My first thought as I ran in to call 911 was, he's done it. He's killed them and set a fire in the house just like he said he would, the neighbor told the LA Times. Judith's last film was All Dogs Go to Heaven, and it was released after she was dead. Judith and Maria were both shot to death. That's what their death was from. I didn't mention that earlier. So this is an incredibly sad story, and it's really sad that still you can watch TV shows and movies that Judith is in or that her voice is in. It's so heartbreaking because she was a 10-year-old kid. I mean, she was young and so much could have been done. There were times where someone could have helped, but in a situation like that, you can't help someone that doesn't want help or is so afraid of the repercussions. I mean, it's like you can only do so much. However, it is awesome that the psychologist and the agent did try to do something. I think that's amazing that they at least stepped in and attempted. But at the end of the day, this is the end of our story. So all that being said, please be sure to leave your comments in the comments down below. Any thoughts or things that you maybe figured out during this case, or if you have other information that I just didn't mention, make sure to comment down below, as well as subscribe to my channel. But other than that, that's it for me today. So have a good rest of your day and be safe. Bye guys.